Welcome, sweet friends, to the channel Frugal Money Saver. My name is Emmy. My husband's Paul. We're so happy you have joined us today. Today we're going to be sharing a frugal living vlog. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, but it all comes together to show you how we live a frugal, thrifty life, making sure we live below our means, never spending more than we have, and just basically enjoying life. We have packed this video full, and we hope it not only proves helpful, but encouraging on your frugal journey. First thing we're going to start with is we're going to get outside with Paul in the yard, and he's doing some gardening that is going to prepare us for next spring. Because when you garden or you tend to the outside, it is a 4-season job. Every season has a little job that you have to do for the following season. We're going to get outside with Paul, and he's going to show us what he's been up to.
Well, our container garden is coming to an end. Yes, the weather here in New York is starting to get cold at night. We were down to 40 last night. Our basil is finished. You really can't eat it now. It's old and wilted. So the basil served us well, did good. The tomatoes. Yep, we got a lot of tomatoes. You can still see some green ones on there, but the plants are definitely losing their strength. It's time to start cleaning this up. And what I like to do is I like to take the dirt out of these pots and put them back into our compost container so it can rejuvenate over the winter for next spring. After I trim back the tomato plants, I leave a little handle on there so I can grab the root system, pull it out of the dirt in the pot, and shake it off into the compost and then discard the root. The dirt goes back into the compost container for next year. Now, if you see all those white specks, those are ground up eggshells. We put eggshells on the top around the tomato plants, and that stops something that's called blossom rot. If you've ever grown tomatoes and the bottom of the tomato is turning brown or black or yucky, that's called blossom rot. It needs calcium. So just a little bit of eggshells ground up around the top. The rain and the water washes it into the soil. That's what solves that problem. As you can see, I added another compost container to my property. My dad gave me his. He's no longer going to use it, so I put them side by side now. And we're just putting everything we can into this, including the soil from those pots. And we keep it turned with a pitchfork all winter long. It just breaks down and rejuvenates, and this is our soil for next year. So we really don't have to buy much. A while back, we were at the Tractor Supply, and they were getting rid of tulips and hyacinths that were pretty much dying or dead. They were like $1, I think, a plant, but there's something you could do with those plants. We showed you how we took the bulbs out, prepared them for storage last year, and now it's time to plant these guys. So come on, join us. We're going to be planting these bulbs in the ground for next spring. So this is what we're going to do. This is a little spot that we have in our backyard that we like to sit in and just hang out. It's great. And there's this little path that goes back to where we keep our cushions for our lawn chairs. I thought it would be neat to plant the bulbs on either side of this path. The bulbs will come up before the lawn needs to be mowed. And then when they die off, we'll just mow over them. These are the bulbs that we prepared last year for planting. We cleaned them off. They're all ready to go back in the ground. And I think I showed you this once before also. This is a little bulb planting tool, which is quite neat. You push this lever and it opens up. Now, what you want to do with the bulb is you want to plant it 3 times as deep as the size of the bulb.
You've been a good friend, and that's in the thick and thin, and I know it's never gonna end.
You always want to plant the bulb with the point up.
'Cause you've been a good friend.
On to the next one. So I planted the bulbs on both sides of this path all the way down, And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant the rest of the bulbs right along this little garden here. Believe it or not, this is a beautiful little garden in the summer. And then I'm going to go right along that lower rock wall. And that's going to conclude our beautiful hyacinths and tulips. It's going to be great. We'll keep you posted.
I know you all love to see when Paul takes us outside or when he's doing his DIYs, and this was a perfect segment for him. And I was so pleased that he thought to put those tulips along our walkway in the middle of the yard. What a great idea. And I can't wait to share that with you come springtime. They're going to be gorgeous. And what's so great is, like he said, when they're fading, it will be time to mow our grass. For timing's sake, it works out perfectly. Now, let's get into the kitchen and share a 70-year-old recipe, yes, 70 years, from our dear friend Betty Crocker. Now, I made a mistake while preparing this recipe. I want to see if you all catch it. Now, you know we are pretty transparent and I come clean with whatever I do here on the channel. So let's see if you can catch my mistake. Of course, I will fess up to it at the end, but this is so delicious. Let's turn the camera around, get into the kitchen. This is Betty Crocker's Good and Easy Cookbook, circa 1955. This is a half-size cookbook. Later on, they did make a full-size one, I think in the late 50s, early 60s. I have that one too, but this one has beautiful pictures in it. And I'm going to show you what we're going to be making today. We are going to be making a double quick coffee bread. Look at these pictures. I want to give you a little glimpse of this cookbook before we start. Look at this breakfast tray. If someone served me that, hint, hint, Paul, oh my goodness, you'd never get out of bed. Look at this. So gorgeous. Tossed green salad. Lunchbox favorites. Beautiful mid-century cakes. Does anybody bake like this anymore? Look at this holiday open house buffet. Even the decorations, I think those are gumdrops, it looks like. Just so beautiful. Just wanted to share a little bit of this book with you. This is the recipe we're going to be following. What I'll do is have Paul take a screenshot for you so you can have this if you'd like to refer back to it. We are going to be making the cinnamon streusel. And this will be perfect for Thanksgiving morning, Christmas morning, any cold morning. In the bowl, I have 3/4 of a cup of warm water. Now, what's happened is because I have been doing so much baking with sourdough, I have a plethora of yeast I need to use. So we don't want it to go to waste. So we're going to be cooking with yeast a little bit, but still keeping our sourdough alive and well. To the 3/4 cup of warm water, we're going to add 1, 2 1/4 teaspoons yeast. And then we're just going to give this a little mix. Let that sit for a minute. We need to add 2 1/2 cups flour. They said do half at a time. So I am going to put in 1 cup and 1/4 cup sugar. It said a teaspoon of salt, but I added a little bit less because my butter is salted. Now it says to beat thoroughly for 2 minutes. Now we only put 1 cup of flour in because it said to do half at a time. So I am going to put this on. And we're going to let it go for 2 minutes. And of course, you can do this by hand as well. Halfway through, I just stop to scrape the sides down. Our 2 minutes is up, and I'm adding about 4 tablespoons of butter that I just sliced thinly, and that butter is softened. And we're going to add 1 egg. We're going to give that a quick mix. And then it says to gradually add the rest of the flour. So that's another 1/2 cup, another 1/2 cup, and 1/4 cup. And I stopped halfway through again and I scraped down the sides. And we're going to do this until it's smooth. It says this takes the place of kneading. So listen, we're listening to Betty Crocker. And the thing I'm trying to encourage you with is not to be afraid of using yeast in your recipe. So many of you are intimidated by yeast breads, yeast cakes. So easy, I promise. So let's finish beating this. The dough came together. It is extremely sticky. But when I saw how you put it in the pan, it all makes sense. I have an 8-inch square pan. I have one of my butter wrappers that I keep in the refrigerator. And I am just giving this a good grease. Keep your butter wrappers in the refrigerator to grease pans. It's such a great little money-saving tip. I'm also going to grease the inside of my cookie scoop because I think that will help it come out easier. Oh yeah, much better. And we're just going to cover the bottom with spoonfuls of our dough. This is what it looks like when it's finished. It's so funny. I'm wondering why they just didn't say to spread it in the pan, but that's okay. Betty Crocker is a wise woman, so we're going to listen to her. Now I'm going to set this aside and make the topping real quick. Here's the cinnamon streusel topping we are going to add to our delicious breakfast coffee bread. Right here, I have 2 tablespoons of butter that again, I just sliced thinly. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of flour, 1/3 cup of brown sugar, and 1/2 cup of chopped walnuts. You can use pecans, or if you want, you just leave the nuts out. That's up to you. We're just going to mix this all together. And the best part of this is the recipe says you can make it a day ahead and then just reheat it. But it's so simple that you could probably make it the morning of. Now we're just going to sprinkle this on top. And we're going to now cover this and let it rise in a warm place for about 50 minutes. When I need a warm place to raise dough, what I do is put my oven light on. Just the light. Don't turn your oven on. Just the oven light. And I let it sit in there, and that creates a wonderful warm environment. Now I'm going to cover this with a damp cloth and put it in the oven with just the light, no heat, for about 50 minutes to an hour. Cover with a damp cloth. We're going to set it to rise. It's an hour later and this definitely rose. Look at how puffy they are now, the little balls of dough. I'm preheating my oven to 375 degrees and we're going to cook this for 30 minutes. This just came out of the oven, 30 minutes. Look at how these little pieces of dough just puffed up. I cannot wait to taste this. It just smells so warm and cozy. But you know we keep it real. And Emmy forgot an integral ingredient. And that was cinnamon. I'm thinking I could sprinkle a little cinnamon on top, or I may just leave it as is. But it does call for, I think, 1 or 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. But I bet this is going to be fine anyway. But you know I keep it real. I could have pretended, but... So let's give this a taste test. Dixie, are you going to help Daddy taste test?
So let's try out this cake, the Betty Crocker Good and Easy Cookbook. That's good. That's good. Boy, this is better than any box cake you can buy at the supermarket or one of those big stores. This is absolutely awesome, delicious, easy, frugal. Boy, that Betty Crocker, she knows what she's doing, doesn't she? Absolutely delicious. You got to try it. This is Paul approved.
Just as a side note, every one of those little balls of dough comes out as like this perfect serving. Look at this. Telling you, like Paul said, that Betty Crocker knows what she's doing. Where's the cinnamon, right? I'm like, why doesn't the house have that cinnamon smell? Well, because Emmy forgot to put the cinnamon in. It was perfect anyway, I'm telling you. I mean, I would add the cinnamon, but wow, was that delicious. As you saw, the inside was so light and airy. Just a wonderful, wonderful cake. Next week is already November 1st. Everyone is starting to think holidays at this point. Well, Paul and I will be with you for the next 2 months, holding your hand, showing you frugal gift ideas, frugal recipes, frugal decorating for all the upcoming holidays, how to de-stress the holidays, how to simplify the holidays. We just are going to share everything we can with you to make you stay below your budget, have a wonderful, happy holiday, and come out ahead with 0 credit card bills come January. So we hope you're going to be sticking around with us for that. Our next segment is a highly requested part of our vlog. So many of you wanted to see more of our autumn colors and the trees and the bushes, and we obliged. We went out into our yard and we just filmed. Here in New York, our trees, the oaks and the maples, grow so tall. I don't think anyone realizes how tall the trees in our area are. So we just wanted to share this with you. We paired it with some, I think, perfect music. So sit back, relax, and just enjoy this segment.
I'm walking slowly, I'm taking my time. All I like good talking is starting to rhyme. Letting go of lonely, letting go of strife. I just can't get enough of this beautiful life. I just can't get enough of this beautiful life. You do not have to be known. Even the best of us have sometimes felt alone. This whole world is your home. So reach out your branches, lay your roots back to the soil, and watch the rain help you grow. I'm walking slowly, I'm taking my time. All I like good talking is starting to rhyme. I'm letting go of lonely, letting go of strife. I just can't get enough of this beautiful life. I just can't get enough of this beautiful life.
I have to say, I am so proud of that little last segment. I thought the music and the visuals just went together so well, and we hope it blessed you. Just to show you, that cost nothing. That was all free. And that's what living a frugal life is about, finding the beauty and the blessings in every day. So we thank you so much for sharing this time with us. Today's question of the day: what are you making this week for dinner? I'm always encouraging you to think ahead, have your meals planned out just a little bit. So when 5, 6 o'clock rolls on, we're not scrambling and running to the drive-thru. Leave us down below in the comments section what your meal plan is for the week. It encourages not only us, but our viewers as well, and we appreciate that so much. Please, we ask you if you could give this video a big thumbs up. That helps us so much. Subscribe if you haven't. Come on in, be part of our family. We ask you to be well. We ask you to be safe. And above all, we wish you blessings. Until our next video, may God greatly bless you.